Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Taisho Alice. And we are just continuing Snow's route. And technically, we have a save where we need one. Um, but I'll make sure I save before the next choice, just because I'll forget where that one was because I just put it in my normals. So we'll have to create a tab that's just our saves. So anyway, that was just more for me than you, because whatever. So, mirror, mirror on the wall, show me what I want to see. Tell me what I want to hear. Or not? You look happy. I was in my room reading a book, like always. You think so? I answered without looking up. Did something fun happen today? Not really. Well, I'm glad. I was going to ask him what he was glad about, but when I looked up, I found him pulling a cigarette out of his pocket. But then he put it right back again. You're not gonna smoke? I tilted my head in confusion. Ryoshi smoked like a chimney. This was quite possibly my first time ever seeing him decide not to. Nah, not this time. Besides, if I lit one up in here, it'd be a fire hazard. Huh? Was he making a barbed comment about the state of my room? I decided not to ask. Loath as I was to admit it, he had a point. It would only take a single spark to make this whole room go up in flames. Plus, something fun did happen today. Snowflakes, Snow White, Prince Charming. I thought back to the fruit punch she made for me. What a stupid thing to come up with, honestly. And yet, the thought that she had made it for me put a smile on my face in spite of myself. I couldn't keep my laughter inside any longer. It was just so ridiculous. I had done my best to keep a straight face while she was around. Surely I'd earned the right to laugh in private. Ryoshi gave me a look that suggested he could see right through me. Evidently he knew why I was in such a good mood. Well, no surprise there. Hey, Huntsman, what does fruit punch taste like? This was the first question I asked after I caught my breath from laughing. Sugar? Clearly I asked the wrong person. Oh, that was more like a sigh, not a laugh. Look, he was laughing before I got confused. I needed a little more to go on than that. How else was I supposed to imagine it? Then again, she was supposedly an amazing cook, so maybe her fruit punch wouldn't taste like the normal stuff anyway. Why don't you try it yourself and find out? Would if I could. Snow, if you keep this up, you're gonna wind up dead. I know, but I just can't. Knowing this body of mine, it would probably reject her food, same as all the rest. That being said, as I was washing the dishes, I thought back to last night. I wanted to make my prince happy, but I didn't have any concrete idea of how to accomplish that. Hasn't it been brought up in other ones that he doesn't eat or whatever? I think it was brought up in one other one, because now that they say that, it's like, oh wait, that sounds familiar. There was still so much I didn't know about him. Obviously, we'd only just met, but that wasn't all there was to it. I felt like he was constantly on guard, or at least, he didn't seem to want to talk about himself. Maybe if we get to know each other better. And yet I couldn't think of a way to accomplish that either. Hi. That's nice. Thanks a lot. Adobe, just popping up there making noise. What was on his mind? What was he looking for? Was there any way I could find out? What do you guys like, anyway? Oh, I know! Don't ask Gretel. I was like, don't ask Gretel or Red, because Red wouldn't know, and Gretel's a creep, so. What? You want to know what guys like? Yeah. I summoned Cinderella to my room so I could hear his perspective as a guy. You made it sound like you wanted to talk about something serious. Way to waste my time. He sat on my bed and rolled his eyes at me. It's not a waste of time. My whole future hangs in the balance here. Sitting on the floor across from him, I desperately tried to make him see things my way. Sure, maybe I was getting ahead of myself, but if we started dating, then surely marriage was just over the horizon, right? Knowing you, this is about your prince, right? He sighed in annoyance and fixed me with a withering look. This knocked all the good cheer right out of me. How did you know? Are you kidding? Who do you think I am, huh? My all-knowing, all-powerful older brother Cinderella? Damn right. So there's no way I wouldn't put two and two together. And yeah, I know about your little nightly trips to the lake. Well, if Red knows about it, then I guess it makes sense Cinderella would too. Which means Kaguya definitely knows. I'm sorry. I slumped my shoulders to repent for my behavior. Not that I felt I had done anything wrong, but it probably wasn't safe for me to be going out at night to meet up with a guy I barely knew. Wise words. I mean, at least she's self-aware. It's probably not a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna do it anyway. I mean, at least you know it's probably not a good idea. You know, and then when you get murdered and your body is dumped in the lake, at least you're like, I mean, I kind of knew. Like, I'm just saying. I get my mouth shut since Red's been going with you, but you better not get into trouble, you hear me? Yes, sir. I nodded meekly. In response, he smiled and stroked my hair. Despite his no-nonsense attitude, it was crystal clear that he cared for my well-being. So anyways, what do guys like? When I repeated my question, his gaze left my face and drifted downwards. Legs. Legs? Yeah, guys like long, slender legs, so just show him your legs. That's my best advice. But, okay. Not everyone's a leg man, Cinderella. I mean, you know what she's like, what do guys like? And I'm like, you know, he's not the end-all be-all. Like, what do girls like? Different for each girl. Come on. Come on, Spacey! He beamed like he was a genius for suggesting this, but I wasn't so sure. Then again, I wasn't a guy, so obviously he would know better than me. I mean, he knows what he likes. And so... ta-da! Today I'm wearing my work uniform! If I was gonna flaunt my legs, that meant wearing a miniskirt. And that meant my work uniform. No idea who originally decided we'd make miniskirts mandatory at the cafe. Still, it was a cute combination of Eastern and Western sensibilities, complete with a frilly hem. Probably Cinderella, because short skirts means legs. But also, it's your sister. That's fucking weird. Aren't you cold in that? That wasn't the reaction I was expecting to get. No, I'm okay. I gave him a thumbs up. After all, what's a little discomfort in the name of looking good? Finger guns. She didn't do that, but I just love it. Just want to do it anyway. But you've got goosebumps. Achoo! And you're sneezing. That's not how it works! Stop perpetuating the stereotype! Not having any comeback to that, I silently covered my nose. I mean, your nose kind of like runs when you're cold, but you don't like just start sneezing. Like, oh, now I have a cold because I got... And that Riding Hood guy is oogling you with a raging nosebleed. I glanced over at Red. He waved his hands dismissively. His face beat red. It's just really weird that he gets creeped out and, like, aroused by his sister. I mean, I guess 2 for 2. 2 of her brothers are perverts and the other 2 seem to be okay. No, I'm not. Me looking at your bare legs? I am most certainly guilty as charged. Evidently my miniskirt was super effective. On the wrong person. How are you suddenly so enthralled by my uniform, Red? Haven't you seen it like a million times by now? This one is so... They get so much more awkward as we go. Like, I feel like Cinderella and Red Riding Hood's routes were like, okay, yeah, they're fun, they're camp, you know, whatever. And then, like, you get to Gretel and you're like, okay. Alright, well, Kaguya's wasn't really weird. I mean, it was okay. Like, you know, he had amnesia and shit. And then you get here and you're like, everybody's kind of a pervert. This is a little awkward. Like, they're just getting more awkward as we go. Oh, God. We're going to be working as, like, a stripper in Wizard's Route or some shit. Ugh. And everyone's gonna be our brother, and it's gonna be like a family orgy or some weird shit. I don't know, okay? Like, I'm concerned. Okay, I admit it. I'm cold. Really, really cold. Unable to bear it a moment longer, I tucked my knees into my chest and curled into a ball. At the cafe, we always had the heater running, but right now I was outside, in the middle of the night, during the winter. So, yeah. Honestly, I don't know how other girls manage to wear stuff like this outside on a daily basis, but color me impressed. It's called tights. I can practically feel how cold you must be, and maybe you should put something else on before you get pneumonia. As usual, my beloved Snow White was perfectly calm and composed. Good idea! Achoo! Clearly, I asked the wrong person. I should have picked someone with actual experience in this department. So not Red. You want to know what bloke's like? That's not his voice. Anyway, hold on. Yeah, you have a lot of relationship experience, right? So I thought maybe you could help me. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Surely you must get your share of romantic interest from the lads, yeah? I mean, you're just so adorable. Kaguya's compliment made me smile to myself. But I quickly snapped back to my senses and shook my head. No, that's not what this is about. I'm wondering how I can get a certain guy to notice me. Is this about your Prince Charming, then? Well, if Cinderella knows about it, then you get the picture. Yeah, it's about him. He's proving to be quite the tough customer. Ah, I see. Out of interest, when it comes to women... Oh my god! Yes, I know, Creative Cloud! Leave me alone! God, Adobe. Out of interest, when it comes to women, what makes your heart skip a beat? Oh. When I'm on a date with someone else and she comes charging over with a vicious look in her eye... That's not... Oh my god, stop it! It's like you have updates. Okay, I close them. We made updates. Uh-huh. And then again, we made an update. I know. This was updated. I fucking get it. You've told me 6 times. You updated 4 programs. Could you fucking stop? Because I don't know. I can hear the bling, and I don't know if you can, but it's just kind of annoying. Like, stop it. That's not what I'm talking about. I said makes your heart skip a beat, not makes your heart stop. Well, I reckon I'm weak for a cute smile. A cute smile. Okay, got it. I grinned brightly. Yes, that's lovely. Very charming as always. I smiled bashfully as he stroked my hair. Also, this weird petting that our brother does. I mean, it's weird. It doesn't... It makes me... Okay. It's like, it's slightly uncomfortable and weird because I'm reminding myself, there are brothers. But, like, they've been our love interests in other routes and not related to us. So that's where it's not really awkward. So I'm, like, petting. You're like, oh, that's... Wait, he's supposed to be our brother. And, like... I mean, just, like, a pat on the head would be okay. But then I'm remembering we dated you not that long ago. But now you're a brother. And so, like, my wires are getting really crossed here. And I don't know if it's supposed to make you feel, like, awkward. Like, if you played this one first, you'd be like, okay, whatever. But you've dated all of these boys before. We've been in love with them all, and now they're our brothers, and it's like, it's a little weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A little awkward. Like, cause my brain is like, Kaguya's our precious, though. Like, he's our precious mental patient, and like, now he's my brother? Maybe it's just me? Am I the only one? I don't know. Wait. Maybe I should be showing my teeth when I smile. Flashing those pearly whites, as they say. I beamed from ear to ear. My puppet's so precious. As he showered me with praise, I felt a derpy smile creep onto my face, which is exactly how I would feel if he were praising me and petting me, but, like, not as my brother. Like, oh, or maybe I should try to do it all up prim and proper. You know, like a model. Next, I donned a confident, seductive smile. Oh, you've melted my heart, puppet. Getting carried away, I let out a shrill cackle. I'd say that's bad. Excellent. It is? Wait, so they're all basically the same? I pouted. To be clear, I don't mean to say that any old smile will do. But any smile is lovely when it's coming from you. To prevent myself from grinning like an idiot all over again, I pinched my cheeks to keep my lips straight. You're so good at compliments, Kaguya. Then as I let out a sigh, it hit me. Compliments! That's it! I should compliment him! The foundation of any social interaction! And besides, is there anyone on Earth who doesn't like compliments? I doubt it. Snow White, probably. And so... Oh, Prince Charming, you're so wonderful! And you're so... Kakoi... 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 You have to... You have to hold that K. Anyway. Cool. Kakoi... Kakoi... Okay, you know what? I'm having a hard time right now today. As soon as I spotted him, I started complimenting everything I could think of. Sure, he was too focused on his book to pay me any mind, but did I care? Nah. I just kept on complimenting him, waiting for him to notice me. Eventually... And you're so cute, too! Ow! At this, he smacked me for some reason. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Show me what I want to see. Tell me what I want to hear. She's been acting weird lately. What? One time she showed up in skimpy clothes, and another time she started complimenting me out of nowhere. As I reported back to Ryoshi about her behavior, he shook his head and smiled. Oh, is that what you're worried about? Are you saying I shouldn't be? Do you know why she's doing this? Yeah, of course. She's trying to make friends with you, dummy. Friends? Startled, I'd look up to find his icy blue eyes fixated on me. On mine, sorry. He looked nothing like her, yet he reminded me of her somehow. Yeah, you heard me. She wants you to like her, so she's doing these things to win you over. But I never asked for skimpy clothes or needless compliments. Then it sounds like she failed. The word failed stabbed into my heart. After all, I knew how it felt to try to impress someone, only to have that attempt backfire. It hurt. Still, I appreciate her wanting to be friends. I think. Oh, just admit it. He had seen right through me. My face flushed. So what about you? How do you feel about her? Well, I pictured her in my mind. A luxurious castle-like mansion with elegant furnishings, banquets held every night, frills, lace, and ribbons. And she would look good too. I'm just kidding. A pretty princess in a pretty dress. And she might look good in one too. Just can't. Indeed, she was reminiscent of a fairy tale princess. Maybe that was why I felt so restless around her. Why my mind went all fuzzy, like I was under a magic spell. That said, I was never the most emotionally expressive person, so the average person probably couldn't tell I felt that way. Yeah, I want to be friends with her too. Then go for it. But how? How do I make friends with her? Just ask. You want to be friends or what, man? Most people would know the answer to this question. No, I feel like you just become friends and then you're like, we're friends now, right? Cool. You know what? You get Facebook and you're like, so like, you want to be like friends on Facebook? Oh my God, we're officially friends now. Even if you don't really use Facebook. You're like, I never go on Facebook, but we could be Facebook friends and then it's official. But because I'd spent the majority of my life closed off from the rest of the world, I didn't know how to connect with people. You already know the answer to that. I didn't understand at first, but it didn't take long for me to figure it out. Simply put, I needed to act like a mirror and reflect her behavior back at her. So is he gonna wear a mini skirt and then needlessly compliment me? He's gonna look better in the mini skirt than we do. I was starting to get the feeling that the word cute was something of a sore subject for my prince. I didn't know why it had upset him, but the reason didn't matter. If only I could turn back time and do it all over again. If only this was a video game I could reset and start from the beginning. I can, but you're still going to do the same damn stupid shit. If only. There was no wizard here to grant my wish. Not right now, there isn't. Touche. I like game. Game. You funny. Thus, I had two options remaining. Red Riding Hood or Gretel. Nope! I'll think of something myself if I have to. And so I settled on a third option. But just then, the sudden knock brought me back to my senses, and I jumped to my feet. Gretel would never tell you. I knew there was no way it could be him, but just in case, I ran a hairbrush through my hair real fast. Then I walked up to the door and took a deep breath. Come in! Tucking a strand of hair behind my ear, I opened the door. The epitome of sophistication and grace, if I do say so myself, in our nightgown. Unfortunately, yeah, like, it's probably fucking Gretel. Sister. It's him! I couldn't stop myself from screaming. Ugh, you act like I'm a ghost or something. Scowling, Gretel covered his ears. Sorry, I had a feeling this would happen, but I really wasn't expecting to be right. You speak as though you're not happy to see me. Well, that suits me fine. You must not want this one-of-a-kind dessert I made for you, so I'll eat it myself. Pouting, Gretel turned to leave, but I grabbed him by the sleeve. Why do the doors look like chocolate bars? Okay. In his hand was a jar of cookies. The cookies were laden with candies of every color, eye-catching and vibrant, like a stained glass window. They're probably drugs. It's probably drugs. No, I'll eat them! Please let me eat them! He turned back with an impish smile on his face. Well, I guess if you insist. Here, open wide and say, ah. I would never close your eyes and say, ah, and open your mouth like that with Gretel around, because God knows what's going to end up in your mouth. I'm just saying. You were thinking it. I said it. I know. But you were like, no, girl, no, don't trust him. I hesitated for a moment, then closed my eyes and opened my mouth. Bad idea. It's time for another good idea, bad idea. And this was a bad idea. I waited and waited, but no cookie came. Hello? I opened my eyes slightly, only to find Gretel eating the cookies himself. I pointed to my open mouth, begging for a treat. Oh, another thing not to do around Gretel. This is what you get for treating me like crap, sister. You deserve your punishment. He pouted like a sulking child. Aw, come on! You know, in his route it was okay, and like, now in this route you're like, just backhand him. Backhand him so hard across the face, and give me a motherfucking cookie, bitch. So I responded in kind. Don't look at me like that. All right already. Good grief. Everybody's fucking Charlie Brown in this. As he spoke, he put a bite-sized piece of cookie into my mouth. Yatta! All right. Yatta. So tell me, Gretel, what kind of girl do you like? I already knew the answer to this question, but I decided to ask anyway, which sounds really stupid because it's just going to be you and, like, sister. Aw, thanks. Saw that coming a mile away. And so this time I went all out and made some fancy sweets for my Prince Charming. He's not going to eat them. I'm sorry about last time, Prince. I made you these. No thanks. Why are you wearing a miniskirt? I'm just kidding. His reflexes were lightning fast, at least when it came to rejecting me. Defeated, I broke off a piece of cookie and popped it in my mouth. The sugary sweetness danced on my tongue. It's kind of weird because it's like... So, she's doing all these things to try to get him to like her, blah, blah, blah. And like the first time he was like, will you come back? Okay. But now it's like every single time he's hot and cold. Well, he's 100% cold. He's hot when he's alone and with the huntsman. Like, oh, I really like her and being around her and she's so great and I don't know how to do this. But then when she's here, Hey, I made you cookies. No. Hey, you want to talk? No. Hey, you're really cute. Slap. Like, you would think. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess it's good that she has no self-respect. Because, honestly, if someone were treating you like this, I feel like you should get the hint. When you're, like, complimenting them and they're just like, okay, like, weird, and not responding. Like, oh, thanks, yeah, you're great too, you know? But they're constantly, like, just like, uh-huh, great. Yeah, don't say that, you know, i.e. slapping you. And, like, rejecting every single thing you do, you'd think you'd get the fucking hint to stop. We a creepy stalker bitch. I mean, obviously, it's par for the course of the story. Like, you know, it's gonna be, like, wonderful and perfect, but, like, it's still really fucked up. You know what I mean? You're like, hello? And also, I'm trying to think. Did we... Okay, no. I was just trying to think in my head, like, did we ever, like... Did we do the bad endings at, like, while we were playing the game? Like, we did it and then we go back. But the first bad ending is, like, really long. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. I'm just noticing there's a save file too that you create. And there's another choice that you make, you get a bad ending. Right, because obviously, like, you save it. And then you load that save and do the same thing and you get a different bad ending. So, like, the game knows, you already chose this! And you get a different bad ending for choosing the same thing twice. That's kind of interesting. And then you do it again and you choose another answer, so there must be 3 choices. And you do that one 3 times. So there's, like, 6 bad endings? Wow. But only 2 save files. Okay. I scrolled down in the guide to be like, wait, did we do that sometimes where we did the bad ending in the midst? It would make sense if it's just one choice. Okay, we got the bad ending, we go back, we start over. I think we had to do that in Kaguya's. It just made more sense because he had a lot of, like, was it his, I think? Where there was a lot of, do this choice, you get a bad ending, you go back, you go a couple more, you get a choice, you get a bad ending, you go back, you redo, you know what I mean? And it was, like, staggered like that, but this one doesn't make sense to do it that way, so never mind. Anyway. The way he kept rejecting me outright, I was starting to get some vibes. Some, I don't want to eat anything you touched vibes. If you're not interested in handmade stuff, I could always buy you something. No need. He shot that down too. But at least it meant he wasn't disgusted by my food specifically. As I gazed down at the stained glass cookies and pondered my next move, I suddenly felt his eyes on me. Those cookies... Hmm? They're pretty. They remind me of your eyes. You're complimenting me? And then we died. The next morning... I'm assuming we're humming, but I can't hum for some reason. I mean, you can hum, but it's hard to hum when you're recording, like, because you feel like you have to try to hum louder and it's impossible to do. I don't know. Not a talent I have. As I was making breakfast, Cinderella walked into the kitchen dining area. Good morning, Cinderella. What a lovely morning it is indeed. It's like she just got laid. I called out to him energetically. He recoiled. Morning. Breakfast is almost ready, so sit tight. I'm making your favorite roast beef. Sounds like one hell of a breakfast. I thought it'd be nice to spice things up every now and then. We're very happy, you can tell, so we have to talk like we're very happy. Go on, have a seat. As he hesitated, I prompted him to sit down, then turned back to my work. Humming to ourselves. Dude, what's her deal? She's been in a proper good mood all morning. That was so weird, his voice came out wrong, I'm sorry. I could hear them whispering behind me, but I paid them no mind. Listen to me, humming away like a busy bee. Then, once breakfast was ready, I brought it to the table. Here you are! Today I made roast beef, grilled sea bream, and blueberry raisin pancakes. That sounds all awful. Blueberry muffins, yes. Blueberry raisin pancakes, no. And honestly, the weird thing is I like fresh blueberries. Like, literally just pluck them off a blueberry shrubbery. Whatever. Store-bought ones aren't as good for some reason, you know what I mean? Because, like, they're picked and then they're not quite right. You know what I mean? But I don't want the real fat blueberries like that in my fucking muffins. I want the dehydrated, like, crap blueberries. You know what I mean? When you get a blueberry muffin packet. Like, and you just, like, throw the egg and whatever else in there. Like, they're like the dehydrated blueberry. I like that. I like that weird fucking, or fake blue, whatever they are. That's the kind of muffins I want. I don't want real fucking big fat blueberries in my muffins. It's just weird. I don't know why. I also don't want them in my pancakes. And no raisins. Like, no. Like, if you had a little box of raisins are good. There is nothing wrong with raisins. But for some reason, people have to put that shit in your... Like, do not put that in my fucking toast. Like, do not give me cinnamon raisin toast. Like, cinnamon swirl toast? Or, like, cinnamon swirl bagels with no raisins? Fucking delicious. Don't put raisins in them, and oatmeal raisin cookies are why I have trust issues, because they look like fucking chocolate chip cookies. Not even... no. Peanut butter oatmeal cookies are the best. Anyway, but this all sounds terrible. That's all of our favorites. And absolutely none of it goes together. Good morning, everyone. Just then Gretel turned up. Hi, Gretel! As soon as I spotted him, I pulled him into a hug. Sister? Gretel, thank you so much for everything you do for me. You're the best little brother a girl could ask for. What would you like me to cook for you? Name it and I'll make it. Overwhelmed by my energy, Gretel stared back slack-jawed for a moment until I had like a fucking spot on my freaking monitor right on his cheek. Okay, it's good now. Sister. Okay, we're not making us for you for breakfast, okay? What do you want to eat for breakfast? You, pervert. He suddenly leapt into my arms, sobbing. What the fuck? Yeah, sorry. What part of that was supposed to make him cry? Just us talking to him like a human being? Beats me. We're being nice to him. We always talk to him like a human being. We're being nice to him, and he's a creepy pervert. There. I stroked his hair as he sobbed. Really, it was all thanks to him that my prince called me, or rather my cookies, pretty. So arguably he had put the most effort out of anyone. Pretty. Oh, what a wonderful word. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good word. Oh, I'm so punny. It's not really a pun. It's just, anyway. You seem to be in a really good mood tonight. You think so? This was the first thing my prince said to me when I arrived at the lake. Yeah, you're smiling nonstop. I pinched my cheeks. Did something fun happen? I blinked. Since he was usually so sharp, I figured he would have pieced it together. You don't know why I'm so happy? No clue. At this, I smirked. Then allow me to give you a hint. It stems from something you said. You may not have realized it at the time, but it meant a lot to me. He paused for a moment. Because I said your eyes were pretty? Bingo! Huh. So you like it when I call you pretty. I mean, like most people do. Unless it's like creepy and hey baby, you're so fucking fun. Okay, that's creepy and unwarranted, but like, you know. It just depends on the situation, but most of the time telling someone they're pretty is a nice thing. Of course, silly. Any girl would be happy to hear that. Even if he was technically complimenting... you get the picture. Oh, I know. Do you have any favorite foods? Why do you want to know? Well, I could make it for you. Girl, have you not learned that he's not going to eat anything? No need. Okay, well, it was just a thought. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. I feel bad if I'm the only one enjoying our friendship. A pretty slick segue, in my own humble opinion. Now, if only I could find out what he was looking for. I wouldn't say you're the only one. He stared at the ground. Huh? His voice was so quiet I couldn't quite hear him. Then he spoke again, this time more loudly and firmly. I don't really need you to do anything for me. It's cool. We can just hang out. But I could use a pillow if your lap is free. Oh my god, we're getting married now. This is like a step up from hand-holding. Like, holy fucking shit. Cover your eyes. Don't look at this. It's lewd. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect this request. Of course. I spread my arms wide, inviting him in. Look at the look on her face. Oh my god. Good boy. Good birdie. He placed his head in my lap and started to read his book. She's like, ah! He was essentially using me as a cushion, but did I care? Not really. What are you reading? A classic mystery. The front cover was purple in color and weathered from lots of rereads. Clearly, this was one of his favorites. So you like to read? Yeah, I guess. Oh. Hold on. Save. There's an auto save, but should we go to like save 10 and do the ones over here? Yes. Okay. Tell him you like to read too. Me too! So what? His chilly response nearly made my heart freeze over. Oh, I know. Is there anything you can't stand? I hastily switched to a better question. Something I can't stand. He hesitated for a moment and then... I hate my face. Can't say I was expecting that one. I should have known my prince wouldn't make this easy. Could I ask why? I don't want to talk about it. Then I guess we won't. I decided to stop asking questions and simply enjoy the moment. You don't want to talk or anything? Wouldn't it be distracting while you're trying to read? Not really. Okay then, what do you want to talk about? Tell me about you. Can do! I want to know more about your family. You do? A hint of suspicion rose up inside me, but I didn't let it show on my face. Instead, I did as requested and told him about my closest family members, my brothers. As I mentioned before, I live with my 4 brothers in a cafe downtown. My oldest brother, Cinderella, is kind of a jerk sometimes, but he's really responsible and caring. The second oldest, Red Riding Hood, is super serious and super shy. Then there's the third oldest, Kaguya. He's really sweet and happy-go-lucky. And lastly, my younger brother, Gretel. He's a good-looking guy who's really good at baking. Sounds like quite a family. It must be chaos every day. Yeah. But I can tell they love and cherish you. At this, I shifted my gaze. Are they all? Red Riding Hood's over there. And Red, who was standing like a bouncer with his hands folded behind his back, hastily concealed himself behind a tree. Would you agree that your brothers love you? Yes. Yeah, you could say that. I pictured each of my brothers' faces and smiled. They were all different in their own ways, so it could get pretty crazy sometimes. But they were also a lot of fun to be around, and I wouldn't trade a single one of them for the world. Spacey. In the distance, I heard Red say my name in a pleased tone. Do you have any siblings, Prince? Nobody blood-related, but I do have a brother figure in my life. Oh, like a sworn brother? Something like that. I was just guessing, but it turned out I wasn't too far off the mark. Fun fact, sworn brothers is when 2 non-related guys make a pact to treat each other like real brothers. Not just in a, "What's up, my brother?" sort of way. Supposedly, it's a lot more serious than that, like a blood oath. He lowered his book and looked into my eyes. What's wrong? There's this other person I know who reminds me of you. How so? Well, they're tactless, outspoken, and nosy, just like you. That didn't feel like a compliment. Sounds like they're friendly, optimistic. They're a friendly, optimistic, assertive sort of person. Luckily, they don't share your ability to willfully misinterpret me. No, it really didn't feel like a compliment. For the record, is this a woman we're talking about? I asked casually, keeping my emotions under wraps. I first met him right here at this very same lake. Oh, so it's a guy. The word him set my mind at ease. Clearly, I had the wrong idea. He's always smoking cigarettes, even though he doesn't seem to enjoy it. Ew. You don't like smokers? Not at all. My dad and brother both smoke, and I yell at them whenever they try to do it around me. But even as I said it, something felt off. When I referred to my brother just now, which one was I talking about? Couldn't remember. Because the huntsman is our brother. Has been in all the other, things. I know there's a fan disc where he has a route, and I really hope that gets localized. I don't know if I mentioned that before. But it's weird because she has this, oh, my brother, and you're like, and because every route, every one of these games, every episode basically starts off with us in that weird place, we don't remember our name, and we go into the looking glass world. So we're going into some kind of reality. But you kind of get the feeling that, it's not your real reality, And that maybe your real reality has something to do with Alice because he's, the last frickin' route, So, this slipping through is almost like this is just a fake. This is like a dream within a world, So, I don't know. It's kind of like, this is there's little pieces that pop up in there where you're like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it does if this is all some crazy fever dream, but. Because it's bad for you? Hi! Yes. That one's easy. I pushed the strange discomfort to the back of my mind. I can read. No, I can't. No point in worrying about it, right? If your friend ever wants to quit smoking, tell him to suck a lollipop instead. A lollipop? Yeah, that way it'll feel... Oh my god. Yeah, that way it'll almost feel like a cigarette. Oh, that makes sense. But I gotta say, I don't know why anyone would smoke if they didn't enjoy it. Your friend sounds weird. At this, he smiled slightly. Yeah, he's weird, all right. Oh my god, he smiled! He's so adorable. What's with that derpy look on your face? She really does have a derpy look on her face. That said, you're not like him at all. What? Because you just said he reminds you of me. Oh, but you just said, sorry. What? But you just said he reminds you of me. I mean physically. You're similar, but very different. We're similar because we're real siblings. Although that makes the possibility of having a route with him in a fan disc really kind of creepy. Again, it's always... What? Awkward is this game. It's Taisho Awkward Alice. Oh, I get it. Or so I claimed, but truth be told, I didn't quite understand. Hi, Daggertoes! What you doing, little Daggertoes? You kind of look like a fucking hot mess. Are you okay? You look a little your feathers on your head are all You look scraggly. What? You're just also stretching out your little velociraptor legs so long, you're trying to be intimidating. You're not intimidating. You're an asshole, but you're not intimidating. Obnoxious little brat. He's speaking fine right now, but he's normally so mean. Anyway. This other guy was a total stranger. Chances were high we wouldn't look alike. So what did Snow White mean by similar but different? He sat up, then slowly rose to his feet. All done? Yeah. He offered me his hand, which I accepted. As I rose to my feet, his collar came into view. Hey, Prince, your ribbon's untied. He looks down at his chest. Oh, you're right. I reached out to tie it, but he grabbed it before I could. I hear you. I hear your toenails clicking on my cabinet. He stood there, ribbon in hand, frowning. Does he... How do I tie it? Called it. Oh, it's easy. First you tie these two pieces in a half knot. Next you make a loop with each end. Then you make another half knot with the two loops, and voila! I untied my own collar ribbon to demonstrate. But he simply frowned, puzzled. Want me to do it for you? Who dresses you? No, it's okay. Oh, then ganbatte. Ganbatte. Do your best. At my prompting, he made another attempt. Ganbatte. I don't think he's getting it. Ugh. Alas, it didn't go well, and the ribbon slipped out of his hand. You know, I wasn't expecting you to be so clumsy with your hands. Got a problem with that. He pouted his lips sulkily. It was so adorable I couldn't help but giggle. Do you usually have someone else tie it for you? My mother. Gotcha. Then he fell silent. Confused, I tilted my head. What's wrong? If I can't tie my own ribbon, does that make me a loser? Do you think Snow White is a loser? Yes. No, I'm just kidding. Why would you say it? No, it doesn't. I smiled and shook my head. Nobody's perfect. Besides, it can be hard to tie a knot, especially when you're doing it on yourself. It can end up all crooked and stuff. Also, I mean, like, you learn to tie your shoes when you're a kid, but if your mom's been doing it for your whole life, but also, like, tying, like, a bow tie and shit, that shit's hard. Or tying a tie. That's not, like... It's only because I've never practiced tying one, you know, but I'm just saying. You could learn, but if you've never done it before, you're like, how the fuck do I... And then you do it once, you're like, oh... Gotta do it a couple times. So if you really want it to look good, the most efficient option is to ask someone else. For example, whenever I need to wrap a gift really nicely, I'll always ask Cinderella. But I think it's really admirable of you to try your best, even when it's not something you're good at. I shot him a wink. He blinked back at me in surprise. Admirable? So let's see you give it another try. Ganbatte! You can do it! Ganbatte. On cue, Snow White grabbed his ribbon. First, you start with a half knot. Yeah, just like that. There you go. As I watched, I instructed him step by step. Next, make a loop with each... Ah! As he tried to make the loops, the ribbon fell from his fingers. Evidently, he was a lot more clumsy than his delicate appearance would otherwise suggest. Don't give up. If you keep trying, you'll get the hang of it eventually. I gave him a thumbs up. Yeah, I'll keep trying. That's the spirit. Unfortunately... motivation didn't always translate into results. He shot me an accusatory look like, hey, what gives? You said I'd get the hang of it. Well, it can be hard to see your own neck. Then I had an idea. Why don't you practice with my ribbon first? I untied my sleeve ribbon and held it up for him. Maybe he needed to be able to see what he was doing with his other hands in order to learn the ropes. But what if I'm bad at it? I believe in you, Prince. He took the ribbon in his hands and started to tie it per my instructions. That's the ticket! First make a loop with one end, then make another loop with the other end. Then you loop them together in a half knot. One end goes through the hole. Through the hole. What the... As with all skills, it would take a lot of perseverance to learn. Moichido! One more time. I needed to be firm. I couldn't let myself coddle him. I know moichido, because I know moichido itte kudasai. As for what happened from there, well... I did it! Omedetou. Congrats! Oh. Omedetou! Should have sounded happier. I have to pause and make sure I'm reading the Japanese words right so it doesn't come out as enthusiastic as it should. And it only took him 18 tries! Hooray! But it looks weird. Oh, it's going sideways. So I did it wrong. You'll get better as you practice. I giggled and he frowned at me. Oh, sorry, I'm just really happy, that's all. How come? Because I was your first. He was like, that makes him blush more. Not in a weird way or anything. I hastily added a disclaimer. Yeah, because I mean phrasing. Yeah, I know. Okay, now it's time to tie yours. I'm out of time. Huh? But what about your ribbon? I'll practice at home. Hey, wait! But he turned on his heel and swiftly strode away. Darn. I held my crooked ribbon aloft under the moonlight. I'm never going to untie this ribbon again! I didn't care if it looked goofy. To me, it was the best gift of all. Now then, I guess it's time we headed home ourselves. Red? Ugh. My brother had already passed out from a nosebleed. From watching Snow White tie a ribbon on us? God damn it, Red. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Show me what I want to hear. Oh, show me what I want to see. Tell me what I want to hear. I took my collar ribbon and moved my fingers just as she had instructed me. Ah! But no matter how many times I tried, it never worked. Ah. Finally, I was so sick of trying that I flopped down on my bed. Staring up at the empty ceiling, I thought of her. Honestly, I should have just asked her to tie it for me right from the start. It would have been faster that way, and the end result would have looked nicer. The old me probably would have asked her in a heartbeat without even thinking about it. But instead, I grabbed the ribbon and tried to do something I'd never done before. Why? Because she wasn't my mother. She was a stranger, and I couldn't expect her to love me the same way my mother did. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not going to love you the same way your mother does. I'm going to love you in a completely different way. That's not, family. Because that's creepy. As I sat up, my ribbon... Oh, God, I was reading that like me. I'm sorry. As I sat up, my ribbon hung limply from my neck. I pinched it between my fingers. What an eyesore. Anyone could tie a bow. It was easy. But until now, I'd never even tried. All this time, I'd never felt the need to do so. For now, if I keep trying, I'll get the hang of it eventually. There you go. That's right, actually. You just don't give up. We've all had those moments. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then, if you quit, you will never be able to do it. But if you keep going, you'll learn eventually. I repeated her words like an incantation as I once again attempted to tie a bow. I mean, maybe, you won't be an astronaut. So, within reason. But, tying a bow, you should be able to do that. She wasn't my mother. She was a stranger, and that meant we could be equals if I tried. She didn't abandon me, nor did she step in and do it for me. Instead, she trusted me enough to let me handle it. She believed I could do it. And I needed to prove her right. Step by step, slowly and carefully, I followed her instructions. I did it once. Surely I could do it again. Eventually, I did it! It ended up sideways again, but it was still a bow. A sense of accomplishment filled my chest. I had taken my first step, and now I was one step closer to being on equal ground with her. Just then I heard the door open. Snow White, what are you doing? My mother had come home. Mother! I raced over to her, uncharacteristically excited. See this ribbon? I was so proud to have tied it myself, I wanted to show it off. However... Oh dear, what happened? It's all crooked! Oh. She untied the ribbon and retied it more neatly. You're always such a little prince. Yeah. Prince. The ideal man that any woman would want. Every time I heard that word, a dark shadow fell over my heart. The prince rides up out of nowhere on a white horse, finds the lost princess, and rescues her. That was all a fantasy. As soon as we got home, we ran straight into Cinderella. I'm home, Cinderella! As am I. Welcome back, you two. You know, I'm impressed you can stand going out night after night into the freezing cold. Anyway, I put the kettle on so you can have some tea or something before bed. Thanks. I could always count on Cinderella to be considerate. Kicking off my shoes, I headed to the kitchen. Hey, your ribbon's crooked. As I passed, he pointed to my sleeve. It's fine. I spun away from him, shielding my wrist. Normally I let him fix it for me, but this bow was my prince's first ever successful attempt, and it was special to me. It's kind of cute. Smiling, I ignored Cinderella squinting at me dubiously and went into the kitchen. The next day, when I arrived at the lake, I noticed that my prince's collar ribbon was tied in a perfect bow. Delighted, I beamed at him. Prince, your ribbon! My mother tied it for me. He interrupted me swiftly. Oh, okay. Whoosh! You could practically hear my excitement fizzle out. Sure, I was a little disappointed, but that wasn't important. I quietly sat down next to him. There was an uncomfortable silence. Not only had I lost my opportunity to start a conversation, but I was out of topics, too. That said, I couldn't simply endure this silence either. But before I could think of something to say... You left it like that? His gaze was fixed on my sleeve. Of course I did! It was your first... Hey! Oh. I clicked before she said hey, but it's fine. I read it. He promptly untied it without warning. As with the book-throwing incident, he was completely unpredictable, which made it impossible to keep my guard up. What did you do that for? I was saving that! Be quiet and don't move. At his command, I froze like a statue. Meanwhile, he started to twist the ribbon around. Wait, is he... All done. Wow, it's perfect! Just like that, the crooked bow was now replaced with a much neater version. I practiced after I got home, and now I've got the hang of it. No kidding! That's incredible! As I babbled excitedly, he turned away. No, it isn't. Anyone can tie a bow. Yeah, but yesterday you couldn't, and now you can, so woohoo! But it's so flawless. Even I can't tie a bow this perfectly. I held my sleeve up and admired it from every angle. Oh, but I really liked the crooked one, too. What a shame. What's there to like about a shoddy, crooked bow? It's unique. Besides, it was a gift from you, so of course I'd love it. That doesn't count as a gift. Sure it does. You did something for me that made me happy. Thank you, Prince. In response, cool. He smiled bashfully. It was such a wonderful smile, it captivated me instantly. I could feel my cheeks burning. I hastily stared down at my lap, hoping to hide my face. What's wrong? Nothing. That was careless of me. My prince hardly ever made eye contact, nor did he outwardly emote much at all. Thus, I never imagined he would smile at me like that. You really wear your emotions on your sleeve, huh? Yeah, I get that a lot. I just wish you weren't so quick to notice. Hey, so, why do you call me Prince all the time? Huh? I've been wondering. You called me Prince right from the moment we first met. What's up with that? Now you ask me? Got a problem with that? Not really, no. His sulky response made me laugh in spite of myself. He could be so charming when he let his feelings show. I was half tempted to tell him about how adorable he was. He seemed to sense this, however, because he scowled and shifted his gaze to the lake. I changed sitting positions and followed suit. The water was too choppy to reflect anything. Instead, its inky depths seemed to swallow us up. You want to know why I call you Prince? Because that's what you are. I don't get it. If I tell you the real reason, can you promise you won't be weirded out? Something tells me I'm going to be weirded out regardless. Yeah, probably. Most people would find the nickname really bizarre. A long time ago, my brother told me a story. Oh, what kind of story? A story about a boy who was white as snow and just as icy. And your brother that told you the story was the huntsman, remember? He sounds like a dick. On the outside, he was super aloof, with a foul mouth and a fickle, hostile attitude. Yep, this dude's a dick, all right. But deep down, he was warm-hearted. And that doesn't make sense. What is he, a walking paradox? Well, maybe he concealed his true self. Or maybe he let it show a bit too much. So how does the rest of the story go? The boy would visit the lake every night. His physical appearance was pure and beautiful and fragile, like a snowflake. My brother was worried he might disappear forever, so he started visiting the lake too, and they got to talking. The huntsman. The boy never talked about himself, but he was willing to listen. In fact, it only took a few words for him to realize my brother's true intentions. For you see, he was possessed of keen insight. But he never tried to rub it in anyone's face. He spoke bluntly, yes, but he wasn't cold-hearted. Hey, we don't scream like that, no. And there you have it. Fun story, huh? For some reason, he looked at me sadly. Honestly, I don't really get it. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. Surely he didn't go around lording his knowledge over other people, but is that really enough reason to believe he wasn't cold-hearted? Maybe he thought pointing out the truth was a giant waste of time. Well, kindness is subjective, so it's only natural that the giver and receiver might interpret it differently. But as far as my brother and I are concerned, we both feel the boy was a good person deep down. At this, he let out a long sigh. Oh, well, at least I get it now. So you see traces of that boy in me, is that it? Sonotori! That's right. I shot him the finger guns. I mean, a prince as white as snow? One look at you and I was sure you were him. Make sense now? I guess. But you make it sound like you're only friends with me because I remind you of him. Honestly, even if my brother hadn't told me that story, I'm sure I still would have seen you as a prince. How do you know that? Well, because I love you. He looked at me for a minute, then sighed. I don't get it. Just because you love me, that makes me a prince? Yeah, because you're a princess. He beat me to the punch. That said, technically, I was going to say because I'm a girl. Any girl would yearn to be a princess, after all. They longed for a handsome prince to come find them, to rescue them. Even I had bought into that fantasy. His amethyst eyes turned back to me. My heart skipped a beat. We're over time, but whatever. I mean, we gotta wait till the scene ends. His rosy red lips stood out against his snowy skin as he began to speak. I admit, the moment I first saw you, I thought you were a princess. I can hear your little toes tapping all over my frickin' counter. Your eyes are a beautiful mix of red and blue. We're getting a CG. Are we? Oh, no. Oh, we're going straight into his. It's just like, bam, his route. Okay. Well, story. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. I feel like every single time we stop this game, we start in, his thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'll wrap it up here. We'll continue next time. So, yeah, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.